This is a gentleman speaking about why parenting has almost no effect, Tom, after age 15. Look at the way he breaks it down. Go ahead.
It's where you live. Why? Because out-of-home influences are more powerful in shaping the life course of your child than in-home influences are. And those out-of-home influences are peer groups, other adults, neighborhoods, resources, schools, and the larger community that you made available to this child. That is how you shape your child's life course. The second biggest influence is also out of your hands, and that's genetics. And you don't get to determine that. But if you think parenting is so influential, let me give you two findings that have been replicated many times. When we follow up twins, we are able to calculate how much of their behavior is due to parenting within family environment. And here's what we find. The peak years of parental influence are below 7. From 7 on to 12, it drops dramatically. After 15, it's 6%. 6% of the variation in a teenager's behavior is how their parents raised them. That's it. And after age 21, it's 0. Wow. There is no influence of parenting on any psychological trait after the age of 21. Now, do not mistake what I am saying. The knowledge your child possesses, what they know, is clearly a function of exposure in the environment. But their traits, their abilities, their makeup, their personality is not.
Tom, do you agree with them?
I agree to a certain extent. I mean, remember, you're talking about this is the psychological environment and industry speaking, and it's based on their observations. However, there is truth in what he's saying is that you get really 2 bites at the apple. Bite number 1 is under age 13. Before puberty, because puberty brings emotions, hormones, and changes in behavior that we all experience ourselves. The second bite you get is between 13 and 18 when they leave the house. Now, the first bite is much bigger and more impact, but you do have a chance between 13 and 18. And the angle that I chose, which was based on a lot of research, was I taught my daughters to reason and resist, to reason through the situations of life and resist the easy for the best. Resist the easy choices for the best. And I constantly pointed out perspectives. I didn't just stay in the echo chamber of our dinner table. I pointed out, hey, did you see what happened to that kid at your school? Yeah. Do you see? Do you see this? Do you see? And so when you start pointing out things that are happening in their environment and you teach them to reason and resist, that's what you get the second bite of the apple. But he's correct in that, look, when the kids are young, you got to get them young on the things that you want them to respect, to do, and to have a natural inclination to. Because after puberty and all those hormones hit, it's really difficult. They're fighting 2 things. Structure you're putting around them and the natural hormonal zaniness, especially in young boys, it just happens to you. And then where do they spend most of their day? They spend most of their day in school. And so you need to know what is the makeup of the most influential kids are at their school and what are those households looking like. And I've been fortunate that the households that the girls are being influenced by are well-structured and well-behaved households.
Yeah. You know, you watch this, and when he says, after 21 years old, the influence is 0, and he has 0. I don't agree with that.
No.
Where it's, it's more about parents, more than, the community, more than it is the parents. Okay, fine. Yes, I do believe that because purely the hours, number of spent with different people, it's important to put your kids in a school that's teaching the values that you agree with, and the risk is involved on, somebody may disagree with this, Vinny, and they may say the following. They may say, well, I don't agree with this guy. Really? Yeah. Yeah, because the influence is more on parents, and that is why. Tell me why the LGBTQ community is growing on the kids. You think the parents are doing it? You think most parents are sitting there telling their kids to be gay? Sure. You think, forget about the Megan Foxes and forget about the Hollywood folks, the Dwayne Wades. I know since my kid was 3 years old, he was a transgender, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about those guys. But who is doing this? School's doing this. Who else doing this? Communities are doing this. So there's a part of what he's saying is so true, where if you build a community like the way we are when we're around each other, Our values are similar. I don't mind if my kids are with Tom and I'm not there. He doesn't mind if his kids are with us and we're not there. We don't have any problem there because we know what we're teaching, right? And neither one of us are undermining each other. Like I don't undermine Tom, and Tom doesn't undermine me. You can have some other people that are around us and they take shots, and you see the kids, and you see the kid disrespect you. The kid never disrespects me. The parents disrespect me in front of the kid for the kid to disrespect you. So never think it's the kid. It's not the kid. The parent is influencing that. So you're like, no problem. If that's the case, I'm not trying to get involved. It's your kid. You handle your thing. But on the part that I want to talk about here is the influence side. The other night we're having dinner, okay? And we're at dinner, a restaurant we've never been to before. Some of you guys should check it out. It's called Casa de Angelo. So we're having dinner at this place. Yeah, spot. Okay. There's a guy that made a video with 40, 50 times me saying it. I just love the place. So we come back. You're there. We're in the car. You drove us home. We're in the car with the boys, right? We come home that night, and I sit down with me, Tico, Dylan, and Senna. I take out a piece of paper, okay, and I said, guys, let's play a game together. And this is the game that we played. We played the game. I said, tell me, you can see here what it looks like. I said, tell me, you're 30 years old, okay, what would be 4 to 5 things that you would be proud of if you're 30 years old that you're doing, okay? So I'd want to be a soccer player. Okay, great. What else? I want to run my own business, insurance. Okay, great. What else? I want to be a
paleontologist.
What is that? That's like the study
of the dinosaur person, Tom.
Paleontologist, I think it's
paleontologist.
Right.
Paleontologist.
That's okay. So
study of animal history.
Right. So, that's what I want to do. Okay, great. What else? And I'm going through it. I'd want to. Okay, what else? Next one. I'd want to be the CEO of Valuetainment. What else? I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to make movies. I want to be able to write scripts and my characters actually become, what else? I want to be able to have my own bakery. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. And they're explaining all of these things, right? So I said, okay, what qualities do you need for this to become a reality? Leadership, determination, discipline, hard work, poise. They're giving me all the qualities. I'm not giving them. I said, so you need all those qualities to be this? Yes. All right. Fantastic. What route do you need to take for each of these jobs? Which of these jobs do you need a degree? Do you need a degree to be a professional soccer player? No. Do you need a degree to be a business owner? No. Do you need a degree? So we're kind of going through it. Yes, I need it for paleontology. All this other stuff, we're kind of going through it, right? And then you know what I do? I said, okay, great. Let's play a game. What's the game? We're going to play the imagination game. What's the imagination game? I said, let's go through it. So I said, I want you to think about it. You're 30 years old, okay? You're 30 years old. And you want to set that aside, Adam, for a second. What are you doing? You're eating some chips and stuff?
No, go ahead, sir.
Okay. So imagine you're 30 years old and you're actually doing this job. Mm-hmm. Adam, what are you doing?
Pat, it's a thing right here.
Okay.
Good.
So I said, I'm telling him 15 times, like, set that thing aside. I said, imagine you're 30 years old. You're a professional soccer player. To one of them, I said, imagine you're 30 years old, you graduate at West Point, you're in the military. I'm just watching reaction. I said, how's it going to feel? He says, I guess we'll know when I'm there. I said, okay. So I said, imagine 30 years old, you're making movies, you're in the theater, you're watching people's reaction. They're getting scared, or they're crying, or they're reacting, and you're just watching everyone's face. How's it going to feel? To see his entire physiology changed, his face. Then I go to the next one, and the next one, and then I go to Dylan. I wish I recorded this moment because I'm always going to cherish this moment, with these guys. In tears. In full-on tears.
Dilly,
when I tell you full-on tears. And then Senna. I said, notice which one didn't give you any excitement. Notice which one you were just kind of like, whatever. Notice which one gave you an incredible. I said, you have to realize, I can only take you so far, Daddy. I can't take you that far. I'm your dad. My dad never told me to go be a business owner. He just set an example. I worked hard and I picked up the hard work from him, keep your word. And I took it to this level. I've never seen anybody in my family make this kind of money. I wanted to go to this level. if you're going to go be a professional anything, you got to take it to certain levels that I can't even take it.
Yep.
But when you saw their faces, I said, notice you didn't react to that, but you reacted to this and you reacted to this. So now it's going to come down to what you guys want to do with your life. But every one of them, Vinny, is different. This is why I'm convinced there are studies done about the fact that people are born with liberal tendencies and people are born with conservative tendencies. You're born that way. And then some of it is family, environment, surroundings, all this other stuff that makes you that way. So to me, as we're going through this direction, there are people that hate passionately people like Trump. Passionately, they hate people like Trump. And, you know, you're like, all right, that's who that person is. But if we're going forward with this place, and you're seeing that whole number you just showed, that says 2.1 million Democrats lost, Republicans lost 2.4 million. Why do you think Democrats lost 2.1 million and Republicans gained 2.4 million? Why do you think the reasons are?
Border, economy.
No, think about them. So Democrats screwed up the border.
Democrats. So they're losing voters.
Why did 2.4 million people flip to the Republican side? Why?
Nobody's emotional or taken by the Democrat vision, what they're selling.
And they were
don't
lied
get
to.
me. It's not about, I don't think it's about the issues like that. I think it's at first it's at the core. You don't get me emotional about the future of America if you describe it the way the Dems do. That's me.
Yeah.
You haven't got me, but guess what? There's a bunch of people that are moving that don't like what they see in America, and they like what they're being sold on one side.
And I think a lot of them too, Tom. Like when you
That's
see,
my
like,
opinion.
Like when you see all these, like I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith is not a Democrat anymore, but all this shift, all these people flipping because they're like, wait a minute, this guy, like this movement that you guys were lying to us this whole time, from Russia to this to that to here, the economy, and now Tom, they're like, wait a minute, everything that you guys said about this guy, that stupid, that I'm sorry, I'm saying the word again, that hat. Newsom was right about everything. No. Trump, he wasn't right about everything, but he was kind of right. The tariffs are working. The border, this, everything, the crime, it's all working. So now they're all flipping to the other side.
Yeah.
They are.
So to me, the number one factor for me is results. When they first came out with all this transgender stuff and all the COVID vaccine stuff and all the stay home and don't go to school and put the mask on stuff, guess what the 20% did? Not the 40, not the 47, whatever, what the 46 to 43. What did the 15% in the middle do?
Started questioning it, getting upset.
No, they actually did it. The people are like, all right, maybe they're right. Maybe we should take the vaccine. Maybe they're right. Maybe we should put the mask on. Maybe they're right. Maybe we should stay home and maybe they're right. Maybe, but then what happened? They learned they were wrong. And then when they found out they were wrong, they're like, dude, I don't relate to you guys. What's the point? The Republicans can still screw it up and hand those votes out to the other side. They can still screw it up and hand the votes out to the other side if they start getting overly confident. But right now, according to data, research, numbers, and by the way, the tariffs are not even done yet. Imagine if they brokered a deal with China. Imagine if he gets this peace deal with Russia, Ukraine, Zelensky. Imagine if he gets everything that's done with Israel. And imagine if he gets all this stuff done and the economy's popping next year. What are they going to say? You can try to mock all the stuff you're doing. People are going to look at you and they're going to be like, yeah, you guys are funny. It's like the guy, you ever seen the guy that's like, the basketball game. The guy's like, hey, what's up? Yeah, what's up? And the player goes like, to me, looks at him, is laughing at him. He's like, he points at the leader's bulletin.
The score. Yeah.
Dude, you're down 42 points, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yep.
That's what could happen in 27, 28 if they keep playing this way. It could be a devastating loss to the other side the way they're going. Adam, have your nuts. Whatever you're trying to have. This guy is like, opens up the nuts like that. We want to show you the campus, especially those of you guys that are going to the vault. So if you've already bought a ticket, great. Rob's going to put the link here for you to go register. If you bought a ticket, you get to bring a guest with you just to see the tour. Some of you guys are going to be able to get on private jets and actually see what a private jet's like. And some of you guys are going to see some exotic cars. And I'm not just talking about some regular cars. I'm talking some very weird-looking cars that cost a couple $1 million. That'll be this Wednesday. If you haven't yet bought your ticket, we are literally 2 weeks away from the Vault Conference. This is when all of a sudden everybody starts buying the tickets and, oh my God, I got to get the ticket. I got to go, which is great. But this is causing tickets to sell out as well. If you're somebody that hasn't yet purchased your ticket, go to thevaultconference.com, thevaultconference.com. Rob, can you put the link below? Thevaultconference.com. If we have a QR code for them to go there as well, get yourself a ticket. Generals will be able to network with around 400-500 people. Platinums and executives will get a tour by a couple of our associates. Anybody that's got a founder or CEO ticket, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the entire facility. Excited to see everybody here. We're going to have some hors d'oeuvres, some food. You know, it's going to be you'll see stuff before a lot of other people will see it. So again, if you're in South Florida or surrounding, people are traveling from other countries here to just come for this. But if you haven't yet, go to thevaultconference.com, get your ticket, and go register with the link below. Add a guest. We'll see you here in 48 hours. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.